right, well, we're going to get started. Thank you everyone for being here. We are doing a session on student housing and living on campus. My name is Jamie Gutierrez. I am the Associate Director for Residence Life and First Year Experience. My main purview here in Residence Life is our first year communities and orientation. And I have my colleague here that I'd like to introduce as well.
Thank you, Jamie. My name is Tim Alexander. I'm one of the resident directors here in Residence Life and First Year Experience, and I'm so excited to welcome you into this virtual space and looking forward to sharing some information about this beautiful campus and answering any questions that you have.
All right, so kind of what we have on our docket today, we're going to discuss kind of our purpose and our foundation of our first year community specifically with our living learning communities. We are going to go over our housing options, both for first year students, transfer students, and what life is like after that first year. So when you're a junior, sophomore, junior, or senior, or transfer student when you are a junior, senior. We'll talk a little bit about health and safety support resources, campus amenities that are accessible to you as a student living in Chapman housing. And then we have a student panel Q&A scheduled to which we have 3 current Chapman students who will discuss a little bit about their experience living on campus. So for us, benefits of living on campus is first and foremost academic success. As an incoming first year student, when you live in that living learning community, you are living with people in your major or major or college. Tim will talk a little bit more about that later. And it's really to help get students connected to each other to identify that academic identity early. As an incoming transfer student, being able to be among other current Chapman students and connecting and learning about what it's like to be a Chapman student, engage in different resources on campus is really the hope and the focus that we want students to create and cultivate when they live with us. Obviously, living on campus, we hope that you are connecting with your peers and finding that community, whether that is through living in our communities or with student organizations on campus. We have student leaders that live in the buildings, and we'll talk a little bit about them later, that help students get connected and making sure that they're finding that sense of belonging early on and ensuring that that footing is a good foundation when coming to Chapman. Safety, we'll talk a little bit more in detail of what that looks like, but we do have our facilities are managed and shared collaboration with public safety department on campus. And then of course, access to Chapman resources, staff, and amenities. We have staff and student staff that are here to support students all the time, 24/7, 365, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later again. Just to note, if you are an incoming first year student, we do have a 3-year live-on requirement. So students coming in the fall of 2025 as a first year student will be required to live on campus with us for 3 years.
All right, so like Jamie said, we place our first year students based on their academic major. And you might hear that other institutions do it based on affinity or identity, but we really like this model because imagine, I know a lot of you are seniors in high school, or even have some transfer students, you're walking out of your classroom, and as you're going on to your way home, your classmates are your roommates, or the people who are majoring in the same major are your neighbors, and you have instant study buddies and have instant friends because we recruit from all over the United States of America and actually all over the globe. And so to have an easy way for you to connect with like-minded individuals who have similar interests and who you can hang out with and go to the dining hall with, that's really Chapman's mission of making that personalized education and ensuring that you feel comfortable and that you can build your community early with people who are invested in the same things that you are.
Okay, so a little bit about getting started with us. I understand we may have some incoming spring admits that might be joining us here in January. That application is scheduled to open before the end of this week to apply to live in Chapman housing. Application process for first year students coming in the fall of 2025. Application will open in May. of 2025, and it will close, I'm so sorry, in March of 2025, and it will close in May of 2025. For transfers, that will also open in March of 2025, but that will close in June of 2025. So just some dates to be in mind if you are looking to live with us on campus. For both incoming first-year students and transfer students, we do pair you with your roommates. So basically, we take a look at the housing application questionnaire that you fill out when applying to campus. Utilize that tool to help identify compatibility. So it is very, very important that when you do apply to housing, that you are answering that tool honestly and critically when thinking about what's my life going to be like when I am living on campus away from home and on my own. For first-year students, again, because our living learning community drives this process, living with your academic area of study is what is going to be our kind of main driving factor in that. Move-in traditionally for our first-year students is a one-day process, and for transfer students, that is usually a couple days following first-year move-in, and it looks a little different depending on what signups look like for continuing student areas where transfer students would live. And then, of course, orientation, we have four separate orientations. We have 2 family programs, one for first-year families, one for transfer families, and a transfer student orientation and a new first-year student orientation. But we'll talk more about that, hopefully, when you've decided that you're going to join us in the upcoming year. Now to talk a little bit about our housing options that we do have. So all of our first year students live in 5 of our residence hall on campus housing communities. Those are Henley Hall, Moreland, Prawley Sodaro, Glass Hall, and Sandu. Our continuing and transfer students, these are 6 Chapman-owned apartment buildings here on campus and in Anaheim, about maybe 2 miles away from the Orange campus. We do have Chapman shuttles that run from the off-campus facilities to and from campus that a lot of students utilize, and I'm sure if you have questions about that, our students will be able to answer during the panel.
So our residence halls that Jamie mentioned are all tripled. There are a few that have suited bathrooms, which means that there's 2 folks in one room that share a bathroom with 2 folks in another room. But it's not like your traditional res hall where everyone on the floor is sharing one bathroom. Every apartment in our first year communities is equipped with a private bathroom. And we also allow you to let us know if you want to live in gender inclusive housing, which means if you want to live with folks who have a different gender than you identify with, you can indicate that on the form, as Jamie mentioned, with the preferences. But if you want to check out the layouts or get some tours of the buildings, you can go to our Instagrams at Chapman RLFIE, and that's just CHAPMAN RLFYE for Residence Life and First Year Experience as an acronym. And then you can follow the specific buildings like Glass Hall, which I'm the RD for, Henley Hall. They all have their own Instagram accounts and they have videos of the rooms. And on our website, there's also layouts and 360 models. And so you can really get a feel for what you're going to be living at if you choose to select Chapman. And on the next slide, we have some pictures.
So you can see. Oh, sorry, Tim. So you can see here just different variations of how students like to make that their own. Really your space once you get here to kind of decide and determine how you want that space to reflect who you are. Anything to add, Tim? No? Okay. All right, so these are our current housing costs for first year students. You can expect that they might increase about anywhere from 3 to 5%. These costs are for 9 months, so September through May. Of course, it includes Wi-Fi, all of the utilities, water, electricity. Our laundry is also free. You do not have to pay for laundry. And then, of course, if you are in financial need, housing grants are available. That is just something you definitely want to discuss with a financial aid counselor to see if that would apply to you. So this is a look at our continuing student areas and any transfer student who might be seeking to live on campus. So Chapman Court, newly acquired building, it just opened this fall. Chapman Grand, Davis and Harris, Glass Hall Center Tower, Panther Village, and the K. Chapman Court, Chapman Grand, and Panther Village are our communities that are off campus, and most students do either drive to campus or take the Chapman shuttle. Davis, Harris, Glass Hall, and the K are all walking distance from our Orange campus. The K specifically is kind of near where the Dodge Film School is and where our dance school is. So living on campus.
So I'm seeing a lot of questions about the dining hall, and it makes sense. For the next 9 months, you're going to have a facility that's going to be providing your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As a resident director, I eat there almost every single day, and I've worked at other institutions. This dining hall is really good, folks. We serve sushi during lunch, and all of the chefs have made a real big effort to support folks who have different dietary needs or restrictions. I identify as lactose intolerant, and all the chefs know that. And so there'll be times where I'm waiting in line for a plate and they're like, hey, Tim, you can't eat this, but we made a special one for you. And I've seen them do that for folks who are vegan, vegetarian, or need kosher or halal. They really go above and beyond to make that personalized experience. And I've even had parents and their students sit down with the chefs and be like, hey, can we make an individualized meal plan that really supports them? And they've been able to do that. And they've been super accommodating. The other cool thing is, in addition to your meal swipes to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you also get something called Panther Bucks. So think of it as like a declining balance of funds on your ID card that you can use at our Jamba Juice on campus. We also have Qdoba, Einstein's, there's even a Starbucks. And it's really nice in between classes if you want to go get some coffee with friends or with the professor to just use that money. And at the end of the year, it renews, or every semester it renews. So you'll never be out of options. And yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about safety. We do have a public safety department here on campus. They are 365 days, 24 hours a day, and can be reached in the event of an emergency. They also work with our local emergency services to sometimes provide support in an emergency, depending on a situation. We also have full-time professional staff that live in the residence halls. These folks, like Tim, have a master's degree either in higher education, student support, counseling, or leadership to really help provide and facilitate student support. We also have resident advisors that live in the building. They are current students at Chapman who help students navigate conflict, help connect them to resources, help identify situations that may be in need of some sort of emergency service. So they are very well trained. They go through an extensive training process to ensure that students do have the support and resources while living with us. In that, we also have our full-time professional staff serve on an on-call duty rotation. Again, this is something that happens 365 days a year, 24/7 during holidays. Our professional staff can be reached in the event of an emergency. We actually work very closely with public safety to ensure that we are responding to situations that may need help or support in an effective manner. Public safety also has Operation Safe Ride, where students can actually go and reserve through an app to take a safe ride somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what the mileage is, but that is available on the Chapman website under public safety's page. And then just a little bit on campus student wellness resources that are available. We do have a student health center. Again, their hours are available via the website. There's also an urgent care that is just 2 miles from campus. We do have student psychological services where students can go and meet with a therapist if they are in need of that support. They also have a after hours hotline where students can call after 5 p.m. to talk to a therapist. And if they need support, I also believe there is a psychiatrist on their team currently who can help in in any sort of way that they can help. Again, more information on the website as to their services and what they can provide is listed there. And then the Fish Interfaith Center is a space where a lot of students go. It is open to all faiths. They have a variety of events that help support student well-being. They have a meditation, a prayer room, they host events. They do all kinds of really amazing things to help ensure that students feel supported and connected. Okay, and then just a little bit about our campus and near campus amenities. So the Masson Family Beach Club is a area here on main campus Orange near the first year residence halls. The beauty of going to school in Southern California is that students are always at that pool no matter what time of year it is. We also have the Henley Fitness Center, which is located in the basement of Henley Hall. It's kind of at the center of where our buildings are. The Doty Stroop rock wall. We have a Davis Community Garden where students can go and plant items and kind of share that responsibility in caring for the garden. Old Town Orange is just a short walk full of coffee shops, restaurants, antique stores, you name it. It's always hustling and bustling, especially on a beautiful day here in Southern California. And then the Orange Metrolink stop is actually not a far walk. I've taken it to San Juan Capistrano, which is just South County of Orange County. And it's always really fun to take a little adventure on the Metrolink. Okay, so now we are going to facilitate our Q&A session. So I'm going to have our students turn their camera on. Oh man, I'm on a timer in my office. Okay, I think I see you all. All right, so we're gonna have the student panelists introduce yourselves. Just say your name, your major, what year you are, and maybe why you chose to come to Chapman. So Emily, would you like to start? And then Tom and Xenia.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a junior health sciences major, health humanities minor, and I decided to come to Chapman for the small school size and the location.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a computer science major and a game development programming and film studies minor. I'm a sophomore, and I came to Chapman also because of the small school size and just the personal experience that you get from that.
Hi everyone, my name is Xenia. I apologize. I don't know why, but my camera is not working right now. I am currently a sophomore, double major in graphic design and psychology. So my involvement include that I'm in the cross country team, in the track team, and I came to Chapman because of the sense of community that it has, and just because of the great opportunities that offers in my major.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so before we hop into the Q&A, which Tim will facilitate those dialogue with our students, if I could have each of our panelists just tell us a little bit about your experience living in Chapman housing. Where did you live or where do you currently live? And what do you like about it?
My freshman year, I lived in Panther Village, and now I'm living in Sandu as a resident advisor. My experience living in on-campus housing has been really great so far. I really like all of the amenities. I use them almost every single day, the gym, and one of the other RAs also works at the rock wall, which is really cool to see. It's a great like walking distance from a lot of places, which is really nice.
I lived in Henley Hall last year and this year. I really loved Henley and really all the buildings. They're really nice places. There's always stuff going on. You're always running into friends. Um, and there's just so many things that you can do. There's again, yeah, like Emily said, the rock wall. There's the pool. There's the volleyball courts. There's the basketball court. So there's always stuff for you to do, which I really enjoyed.
I lived at Henley Hall also my freshman year, and I'm currently living at the K. So I personally love Henley a lot. It has a lot of like amenities sort of like places that you can use to hang out with friends and stuff, which I think is so wonderful because it has a sense of community, but at the same time, it's still like it is a private area. You still get like your own bathroom that you share like with your roommates and stuff, but it's still you are allowed to like just meet other people. Last year we had a lot of like events at Henley Hall that were like really cool, and I was able to like meet a lot of people. So yes, it gives you that sense of community, but at the same time, you still get your privacy.
Love that. Okay, and based on maybe when you were looking at universities and trying to make a determination on where you were going to study, what about Chapman housing specifically stood out to you that maybe wasn't the case at other universities?
I think with Chapman housing, it really relieved the pressure of trying to find a roommate since Chapman finds the roommates for you based on the compatibility, which was really nice because I didn't have to worry about having to reach out to different people to try and find the roommates. I also like how each hall is specific towards the college that you're in. So a lot of like for me, I'm in Korean, so a lot of the health science majors and psychology majors all grouped together, which is really nice because the same people that are in your classes are also living in the same hall as you.
I really liked how close the buildings are together. All the freshman housing is all on one block all together. So you're always running into people you know, running into friends, meeting new people. It's also super close to campus, which was also really nice because you could wake up right before class and get over there really quick. Um, which a lot of schools that my friends go to didn't have. It was also just the buildings are really nice. You get your own bathroom. Most of the buildings have, their own AC or central AC. Close to the cafeteria. I loved my room and I love my room this year. They're nice places to live.
For me personally, something very important that I was like looking for when I was like looking for colleges and stuff is just like accessibility because I don't have a car. So just like in the sense of like groceries, like getting to class on time and all of that stuff, I needed to be in a place that allowed me to like live close to all of those things. And Chapman, especially freshman housing, like allows you to have that. Repeatedly mentions we have the shuttle and stuff, and if you need to buy groceries and you don't have a car and stuff, like the shuttle over the weekends, like it stop at Ralph and you can like do all that stuff. So for me, that was very important. Like have everything close, kind of, which like Chapman provides you that opportunity. And I thought that's really great.
All right, so now we're going to take a look at some of the questions that are coming in through the Q&A feature, and I just want to open up if folks want to ask a specific question or a panelist, please include that. But one that came up that I'd love for everyone to answer is, what is one thing that you wish someone told you to prepare for living away from home for the first time?
I think that orientation week is so fun. It can also be really overwhelming though. You don't have anyone, you don't have your parents there to help you like answer like if you're having trouble with the laundry machine. And there are people who can help you, but it's a big transition. You're meeting all these people at once. To just going from living on your own to you're just, you're running around, you're meeting all these people, you're doing all these things, you're exhausted at the end of the day. It's a lot. And I think just being prepared for that and, you know, being ready to ask for help and find, use your resources, I think that's something that's really helpful really early on.
I think I would say to really take advantage of the opportunities that are given. A lot of events take place in first year communities and on campus, and I would just really recommend going to them. It's a great way to meet a lot of new people that you normally may not see. Um, yeah.
For me, it's just like understand that you're not alone. Like a lot of people are in the same boat as you, and sometimes it can be like very overwhelming. Like a lot of people put that pressure on themselves, like I have to make friends, like I have to do this. Like it's okay. Chapman offers like multiple opportunities. You will meet many people like during orientation week, but if you let's say like don't find a group that you feel comfortable at the moment, that's totally fine. Like all of these buildings that we're mentioning they offer like events throughout the year. Like my best friends I met like mid-semester in one of the events that the RA hosts. So just like be patient. It's okay. Everyone is in the same boat as you. So don't be scared. Don't be scared to reach out. I'm sure you're gonna make friends and like people love when you reach out too. So it's okay.
Thank you for that. So I think one thing folks are a little anxious about is living with people who they've never lived with before. And so the next question is, what is the process to resolve incompatible roommate selections made by Chapman staff? We don't get it right all the time. Everyone's filling out an application in either March, April, or May, sort of projecting how they hope they will be in the fall. But it's our hope that we try to find folks you're compatible with, but we don't always get it right. So Aris, can you please share from your perspective maybe a roommate conflict that you helped to mediate, or maybe even if you've had a personal experience with conflict with a roommate or friends?
Typically, when you have trouble with your roommates, the first person you can talk to is your RA. Your RA was a freshman once too and had roommates and had to deal with, I'm sure everybody's going, no matter how well you get along with your roommates, is going to have some problems. So having someone who's been through it before, they're the first person to talk to, and they can help you mediate things. They can help you, give you advice. They're really great resources. And I will say most of the time, people will come to me and say, hey, I'm having this problem. I'm really worried about it. And then they end up talking to their roommates and it ends up working out. And it can be a very anxiety inducing thing if you haven't lived with someone before and having a problem that you don't know how to air it out. But it's something that people time and time again are able to work out.
Yeah, going along with that, there's also roommate agreements that each roommate in the room signs, and it goes over different topics such as cleanliness, and just everything under that, like lights, like what time is considered early or late. It's important to be as honest as possible when filling those out and making sure that everybody in the room agrees with that, because that's really going to be the basis of like what to look at when you have an issue.
I agree, especially the roommate agreement thing that we just mentioned is extremely important because it helps you set those boundaries at the beginning of the year of things that you like, things that you don't like. And there's that way you become a better roommate. Your roommates are able to like understand what will make you feel more comfortable, because at the end of the day, we just want to feel comfortable, and that's okay. I would also say like don't be scared to like talk to your roommate, because just that communication part is gonna be key. However, let's say if maybe you don't feel comfortable or are scared of maybe that will turn into an argument, your RA will always be there for you. So just know about your resources, then they can help you mediate and stuff. So just don't be scared to ask for help if needed, because we have that help.
Thank you for that honesty. And I want to know, why did you each choose Chapman? I'm sure you applied to a number of institutions and had ideas in high school where you wanted to go, but what made you choose Chapman as your home?
I think for me, when applying to colleges, I was really set on going to a public school because of the cost, but I got really good financial aid as well as a scholarship from Chapman. And then looking more into it, I really fell in love with how small the campus is. My class sizes on average are like anywhere from like 20 to 30 people max. Unless, yeah, they've like not, most of the time, they've never really surpassed that, which is really nice because you get to really know your professor and the other people in your class, which is really, really nice. Your professor actually gets to take the time to learn your names. And then also just like, since it's such a small school, you really get to know all the familiar faces on campus while walking around.
Before I visited Chapman, I thought I was going to a different school. And then I visited Chapman and I immediately fell in love. It's a beautiful campus. It's the small class sizes. I can't emphasize how wonderful it is to know your professor, not having to deal with TAs, and making those personal connections. And when I went on my tour, it felt like every 5 minutes someone was going up to the tour guide and saying hi, and like, part of you makes you think that like it's staged, but it absolutely isn't. It's such a tight community. Um, and you're always seeing people, there are always people around. And I think that's something that I noticed early on, and I feel very strongly now that I've been here.
For me, it's just like that sense of community is something that I feel like it was really important because I am a first generation student coming from El Salvador. So just moving into college, like didn't know what to expect, and I was coming to another nation. So it was a little terrifying. However, just like touring here at Chapman and stuff, like they told me about so many resources, and I felt like Chapman like cared for me to a certain point, which I thought was very important. And I just felt like so welcome. And I think that Chapman has a lot to offer to like different students, no matter like your background or where you are from, which I think is very beautiful. And just that sense of like um finding a place where you feel comfortable and where you belong, I think is really great. And it is what made me come to the school.
Nice, thank you. And I think we've talked a lot about how people feel connected and know each other on campus, but how do you find out about activities that are going on in your residence hall or on campus? Is there an app?
For within the residence halls, I feel like the best way to stay updated is by following the Instagrams. I feel like each Instagram is personalized towards that hall, and they generally post like all of the events coming up. And then for on campus, there's different Instagrams that you can follow, such as Chapman UPB. They host so many different events. And then for clubs, we have a club fair at the beginning of each semester. And that's a great way to sign up for any clubs that you're interested in.
Yeah, your RA is also a really good resource. They'll be announcing things at the events that they're putting on every so often. There's also going to be flyers like all around campus. I remember when I visited, just thinking how cool it was seeing all the different flyers, all the different things going on. Um, and you'll get emails. Checking your email is a great way to just keep updated on things. And also UPB, which Emily mentioned, stands for the University Program Board, and they put on so many cool events. They'll have off-campus things, they'll have on-campus things. I remember last year they had a mechanical bull come near the dorms, and you got to ride that, and you got free burgers from a food truck. I won raffled off tickets to Disneyland. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on all the time.
I think the best way just to find about events and anything related to like the stuff that is going on campus, I think it will be Instagram or just like social media in general. So I would highly recommend to follow like the Instagram of the residential place that you're gonna live in. Other than that, I would say talk to your RA. Like RAs, we get to know you. We like get to like talk to you and stuff and discover what you like. If you think that there's something that you want to like, I don't know, continue doing on campus, something that you're interested in, and you would like to see if Chapman has something to offer related to that, talk to your RA and we can point you to the right direction and stuff. Because again, we have so many cool events. Also, I would say check your emails because those are very important. Jerry Price also every week he sends emails that are very important and very helpful. Last year, because of his email, I found out about a personal, what is it called? It's like a personal defense class hosted by public safety. Personal defense, there we go. And that was so cool. So I say always like read the emails, Instagram, and talk to your RA. That's the best way.
Yes, I cannot stress checking your email. It is the preferred method of communication for the university, and you're going to get a lot. So, email management might be a thing, but you can find out some great things by just checking that. One of the questions is, what's one item you think is a must-have if you're living in a freshman dorm?
A really good mattress topper. I feel like a lot of the time the mattresses can be a little hard to sleep on, but a really good mattress topper makes such a big difference.
I would say an eye mask and earplugs. Your roommates might not always be getting back at the same time as you. Sometimes people might be allowed outside your door. That's dorm life anywhere. So I just find ways to keep that up. So eye mask and earplugs were really helpful for me freshman year.
Oh my God, this question, I think I must too, if I'm being honest. I think Chapman had what I needed, me personally. So, but I would say yeah, because like again, as like Tom explained it, like people come at different times and stuff. So just bring whatever you think is helpful for you.
Nice. And I would say one thing that is big is we have a relationship with the micro fridge rental company where students can coordinate with them before they move in. And when they move in, the micro fridge will already be ready to be plugged in and utilized in their room. And on the website, if you don't want to go through that process, we have the actual cubic feet and requirements if you are to find a cheaper one on your own or one that you want to not just rent for the 9 months that you're living with us, but want to keep for the next couple of years. Xenia, I have a question that's for international students. The student is saying that they're a little anxious about exploring Orange County, and if Chapman offers any resources for international students that might help them adjust. And for the other folks who don't identify as international students, maybe just sharing some tips and tricks for folks that maybe are first generation or are out of state and who just might need some tips or tricks to navigate living in a new city.
I think my best advice in that situation is like literally talk to your RA, because your RA will point you into so many like resources. Here for international students, I'm Latina, so just finding that sense of community was like very important to me. So I did it throughout the Latinx club, which actually my RA told me about that, and she helped me sign up because I was terrified to even go to the first meeting. So she went with me, which I thought was really sweet. So just then I was able to like meet amazing people and stuff. Like for international individuals, also I know at the beginning of the year there are like small sessions like I think it's orientation week when you can like meet other international students and just like get to know them. So you are gonna find other people who are in your same boat. So again, my best advice is just talk to your RA and they can point you to the right resources and just like help you meet more people if that makes sense.
I'd recommend just doing everything you can. There is so much going on. Like I can't emphasize that enough. There are flyers everywhere in Ardros Forum, in your dorm building. I remember freshman year, I had something new going on every day, and I would just I'd walk around, I'd take photos of the flyers, I'd add it to my calendar, and I'd go. And I met so many people that way, and so many people that I'm very good friends with now. Another in a similar vein is the club fair that happens within the first couple weeks of school. Just sign up for whatever even tangentially interests you. They have clubs for interests for any identity that you feel like you might identify with for different academic clubs, and just sign up for whatever might be interesting. You don't even have to go to the first meeting, but sign up and you'll decide later if you want to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Talking to your RA and going to the club fair. Club fair is a great way to meet new people. You can sign up for as many clubs as you want. You're not obligated to show up to all or any of the meetings, but signing up lets you in on all of the information about their meetings, and you can pick and choose when you're available to go.
Thanks. So moving us towards more of an academic vibe, I know that in every building on each floor, there's a lounge and study rooms, but where is the best place to study on campus? Can you share maybe some places that you go to study or some hidden gems on the campus that are special to you?
Personally, I really like sitting on the Starbucks patio. I like sitting outside, and also I like seeing people pass by. But if you don't like it to be as loud while you're studying, I would definitely recommend the third floor of the library. That's also my favorite spot.
One of my favorite spots is it's on the third floor of the building called Ardros Forum. It's called the Cross Cultural Center, and it's quiet. There are fun people there. They have different events going on, but it's just a really nice space. It's very relaxing and a great place to get work done. So I like it there.
For me, when I study, I like to have that sense of privacy. So, in the library, you can rent for free rooms, and I cannot stress enough about how helpful those are. It's like free, it is very easy. You just have to go on the website. So I always am like renting rooms in the library, and I can do my things. And they have like a TV and stuff, so you can play something, play a movie, and do your homework, which I think is great. So any study room at the library is my best and favorite place to study.
All right. And do any of you want to talk a little bit about what it means to be a resident advisor? Maybe a little bit about the application process and some of the benefits?
So to apply to be a resident advisor, there's a written application as well as an interview portion. And then if you get hired, then some of the great amenities include free housing and a free meal plan, which is great. Some of my favorite parts is definitely getting to meet the residents. I know like coming to a new school, like away from home is very daunting, but being able to build those connections with the residents and seeing them every single day and seeing them grow into like a new person and seeing them involved on campus everywhere, it's very rewarding and it's a very rewarding job.
The way I view my job is kind of two main pillars. There is more nuance to it, but I kind of think of it as we're here for safety and we're here to build community. Um, so we're checking up on our residents, making sure they're doing all right, providing resources, helping them get, integrated and, meet new people, but also, for community, trying to help introduce people to each other. We put on events, which are really fun, not just for the residents, but for me too. Um, you get to, put on fun activities, games, food, stuff like that, that help. And you get to kind of bring together a community. You get to see your residents become friends with each other. You get to see them become friends with their roommates, and help that build that, baseline community that they're going to keep building on through their career at Chapman after they're done being freshmen.
I think being an RA is a very rewarding experience because you get to meet people from all over the place, all over the country, all over the world, which I think is very like wonderful. And I get to learn so much about like new people and just like kind of help them navigate that transition from moving from their home to college, which I think is really great. I have a lot of fun just like helping my residents in any way I can, whether it's like pointing them to resources or just like talking. Um, it's just like a genuinely fun experience. It helps you like build those leadership skills, and at the same time helps you just like have a better experience here at Chapman University because you get to interact with so many cool people, and I think it's very.
Okay, this is an interesting one, but the question was, how is the Wi-Fi? Can you speak to how fast the Wi-Fi is with all the devices that you might be utilizing?
I'm uh I'm a computer science major, so I'm a game development major, so I care a lot about my Wi-Fi. Um, and I can definitely say it's very good. I've tested it. It's very good. Yeah. There are two different Wi-Fi networks depending on what kind of device you use, but either are great. So I'd vouch for the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is really good. I've never had an issue with it. So
I also think that is great. I never had an issue with it, so all good.
Nice. I will let our ISNT friends know that the Wi-Fi is doing well. There's a question about water pressure in the freshman dorms. I think folks are a little concerned about the water pressure. Can any of you speak to, I guess, the shower and the sink?
I've never had any problems. Works great. Um, yeah, there's a water bottle refilling station, I think, in every building. But showers great, sinks great. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Water pressure is good. The water filling stations are very convenient. They're both in the dorm buildings and also on campus throughout different like buildings. So like between classes, if you run out of water, you can also just fill it up.
Yeah, just to adding on to like whatever I have said already, I don't think the water pressure was a problem for me at all. So I think me personally, I think it's great. We have a lot of water stations again at the dorms and on campus, so that would never be a concern for you. So yeah.
So I know one of the big concerns for incoming students is the cost of Chapman. And one of the questions was, has it been easy to afford groceries and food outside of the meal plan? And in general, has budgeting as a first year been difficult? So have you run across any advice you would give to them, or maybe some discounts they can get with their Chapman ID card around campus?
I think my biggest piece of advice in this case is just know your channel resources because we're college students, we get everything that we can for free. There's a lot of events on campus that I will offer free food and that kind of stuff. Please go to those. If you can save that meal, do it. Also we have other resources. We have the Panther Pantry, which at least for me is very helpful. It's like a small supermarket that Chapman has when you can like go and like get groceries and just like small things like that for free. And you can go once a week. So for me, that has been like very important and very, very helpful. So just know your resources and what's out there because for a situation and stuff, like Chapman might offer a scholarship or just like anything that can help you just save money. So make sure to just talk to your RA or like someone about those like, resources and how to find them.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Another thing I'd add on is all the meal plans that freshmen have access to are the same price, and you can certainly have 3 meals a day, 7 days a week on the meal plans that you have access to. I have 19 cafeteria swipes a week, which is enough for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day except for breakfast on the weekends. And they also give you some Panther Bucks, which you can spend at Starbucks, at Einstein Bagels, a lot of other places on campus. And the way the swiping into the cafeteria works is you swipe in and you can basically have as much food as you want until you leave. So if you are someone who eats a lot, you're not going to have problems if you choose the meal plan that works for you. Yeah.
Yeah, for the freshman year meal plans, there's also different, they're all the same cost, but there's different amounts depending on what you want. So for Tom's, he has 19 meal swipes, but he has less Panther Bucks. For me personally, I'm not a big breakfast eater and I have classes spread throughout the day when the dining hall is closed. So I decided to take the 10 meal swipes and 400 Panther Bucks. So a lot of the time I'm using my Panther Bucks to get food on campus, like at Starbucks or Einstein's.
I love Panther Bucks. We just got a question, does it roll over? And it doesn't, but we're very communicative about when they expire and then when they renew for the next semester. But when your family or friends or guests who are off campus come to visit you, you can actually use your Panther Bucks to go to the caf. My friends are always asking me to come to the dining hall. They probably love it more than I do. But a lot of folks are also asking which majors are going to be placed where. And I just want to transparently share that we don't know where folks are going to go until we know who's coming to Chapman. So once you pay your enrollment deposit confirmation and let us know that Chapman's going to be your institution of higher learning, then we'll have all the numbers of all the different colleges and majors. And then we start putting the puzzle piece together and figuring out which buildings you're going to be in. But I can give you, for example, in class right now, I have the Korean College, so your psychology, physical therapy. I have Dodge, so our film students. I have communication. I have an undeclared for, or we call it an exploratory major, of folks who maybe haven't identified what they want to major in, but we still pair them with other people and provide them with resources to kind of figure out where they want to go. But we are going to close out right now. Please know if you put a question in the chat, we're not going to get to it now, but we're going to follow up with you to make sure that you get your answer. And you can always email me. I'm at talexander@chapman.edu. And I'll also have Jamie share her email. Or you can email reslife@chapman, and that's monitored by a number of people in our department. We want to make sure that we help you make an informed decision and give you all the information that you need. But before we leave, and each of the panelists just share, when you were a senior in high school, when you were thinking about Chapman right before you applied, what's just one thing you wish someone who was a current student could tell you? If there's anything, it could be about housing, it could be about your academic experience, which is one piece of advice that you wish you had.
Mine would definitely be to make sure to take time for yourself. Going to college is definitely a very new experience for everybody, and there's so many things going on, but just making sure you take the time for yourself to settle into school and adjust to your new schedule and your new life.
My recommendation would be orientation week is kind of insane in the best way possible. There's so much going on. You meet so many people, and I just recommend like going to everything and being prepared to like be tired and maybe be overwhelmed at times. But it's like an experience you're never going to have again. And all of those emotions are ones that I look back really fondly now that I've been here for a while.
I agree with that. Mainly just be open to new experiences and stuff. Like once you come to Chapman, like be willing to like do new stuff and just, go to the events that are happening on campus because they are really great. And you might meet like really amazing people. And just like don't be scared to reach out to people. Even people outside your classes, like especially if you're a freshman, like a lot of people are gonna be new just as you. Everyone, wants to make friends and stuff. So don't be afraid to reach out.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Hopefully you learned a lot about what it's like to live on campus here at Chapman University. Again, like Tim said, if you have any questions, you can email reslife@chapman.edu. You can email Tim directly, or you can email me, jgutierr, jgutierr @chapman.edu. You can also find that on the Chapman website. But other than that, thanks and have a great rest of your day. Bye.